I'm going to talk about a little bit about the customer expectation. I wanted to start by saying, first of all, that you guys are absolutely doing such a good job. The clients are so happy, and it's just such a nice thing to see, because I know how hard you guys work. So you guys know, at the moment, the climate in Australia is that you can't find accountants over here. It's extremely hard to find people to hire. And I think that's probably the same around the world. There's like a kind of a global shortage of resources. So people are coming to us, like flocking to us. We have actually a waiting list of people trying to get services. So I think that's a really good testament to the work that we're doing, to the services that we're providing. And so I think overall, I love working with you guys. I think hopefully you guys all know that, because I think I try and tell you as much as possible. But yeah, it's such a great company to work for. And I'm really, really stoked that we're all doing it together. So yeah, so that's probably the first thing that I wanted to mention. In terms of client satisfaction, biggest thing that we can possibly do is make sure that we're communicating. So if someone sends an email, you're not going to have the answer straight away. And obviously there's a time difference. So no one is expecting you to know what to respond to immediately. So the point is, just acknowledge the email, make sure they know that, yes, we've received this, we've got your complaint, your query, your question, and we will come back to you as soon as we can. So most people are doing that really, really well, as I said. So just, yeah, if you can just always acknowledge an email, say, yep, we're coming back to you. We'll come back to you as soon as we've got an answer, but we are looking into this. Most of the problems are going to go away. When people hire us, they're hiring us because they can't get staff here, or they don't want staff here. So you guys are never just like a function of their business. You're a team member. You're part of their company. You're an employee to them. I know that some of you guys, like, things are white labeled. You'll have email addresses for your client. People like to know that whoever is working with them is part of their team. So we need to make sure that they know exactly who to contact. They need to know who their local account manager is. That's extremely important. I'll probably touch on that in a bit as well. They need to know who their direct manager is, and they need to know who their staff manager is. They don't want to be sort of emailing back and forth to people, like email addresses where they don't know who they're talking to. They want you guys to be part of their team. So you're not like an online virtual VA. You are actually part of their team. And I know some of our clients have brought people out to Australia to meet with the team, to hang out with the team, to work directly with the team, which is a really, really cool thing. And I encourage more of that. And hopefully now that we're kind of past COVID, a bit more of that will be happening. One of our unique selling points is that we do have the local account managers, and that is extremely important. Even yesterday, I was speaking to a new client, and they're tossing up between several different outsourcing companies, because there are quite a lot over here at the moment. And one of the unique things is that we actually have the local account managers. So they have someone that they can call from 8:30 in the morning here, which is a big thing. Like, obviously there's never anything, like, we're not saving babies here. It's tax and accounting. So, it's never a huge emergency, but the fact that they can pick up the phone at 8:30 in the morning here and talk to someone, an accountant, is extremely important to them. So that's something that is one of our unique selling points, and it's really, really important to our clients. Okay, moving on. So obviously compliance and errors. Anyone, anywhere in a job is going to make mistakes. No one is perfect. We're not robots. Mistakes are going to be made. However, the best way to deal with a mistake is to own up and communicate. People are going to take the mistake a lot better if you just say, look, we've done this error, we're fixing it by doing this, and this is the resolution. Don't try and hide a mistake. It's the worst thing you can ever do. It's the worst thing you can ever do. When you make a mistake, you just actually have to suck it up and say, look, I've made a mistake. This has been wrong. Let's just move on and work forward. And people appreciate that. No one is perfect. No one is ever going to not make a mistake. And if you think you're not making a mistake, you're definitely making a mistake. So you probably need to have a look at yourself. But yeah, mistakes happen. Just own up to it. Like, obviously we don't want them to happen. So let's do everything we can to put procedures in place to make sure that they're not happening. But when they do happen, it's just a matter of, look, this has happened and this is how we're fixing it. Communicate. Don't try and hide it. Communicate. So again, communication is key. The fact that we have the levels of review and checks in place is another one of our unique selling points. People love that. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of different outsourcing companies that people can choose from at the moment. And a lot of them will just kind of give you a person and say, here's your staff member, that's it. We're not touching it, we're not being involved anymore. We are really different in the fact that we have the managers, we have the HR, we have all these systems in place to make sure that our team members are supported and they're not just on their own. So when our clients get a resource, they're getting a person to work with their team who works as part of their business, but at the same time, they know that they have the support over here in Sri Lanka to make sure that they're getting the training they need, they're being looked after, everything they need is looked after. The reviews are in place, the checks are in place, and it's extremely important because people don't want to be outsourcing and then having to check everything all the time. Once they get comfortable and they realize that things are going well, then they stop checking because they know they don't have to because our work is sound. A lot of people, this is probably not even so accurate now, but a big reason people used to outsource is because it saved money. So, obviously it's cheaper to hire offshore than it is to hire onshore. Don't be shy. You guys are extremely skilled at what you do. Never ever doubt yourselves. If you see something that the client is doing that's wrong, bring it to their attention. Always in a polite way, of course, but do bring it to their attention. They're hiring us because they know that you guys know what you're doing. So they want that, if they're doing something stupid, which half the time they probably are, bring it to their attention. In a polite way, just say, look, sorry, Joe, whatever your name is, this client has done X, Y, Z wrong and we need to fix it by doing this, this, this. Always politely, but always make sure that, don't doubt yourself. Don't think, oh, I shouldn't bring this up. You should bring it up. You're the accountant. They're hiring you for your skill. This is what they want. So never, and to be completely honest, if you get too nervous, tell your account manager, tell me, tell Bharati, and we'll talk to the client. But yeah, never doubt yourselves because you guys are being paid because of your skill. So then moving on to the technology and reporting. So we are moving into a space now where we're doing a lot of work in technology, reporting and that sort of stuff, and clients want it, especially franchise clients. So it's kind of, at the moment, we're moving into a space where we're doing a lot of work with franchise clients. So reporting is extremely important. So the fact that we're providing this is very, very important. If you see a client and you see something that they're doing that could be improved with some sort of technology or reporting or software, always bring it to their attention. These guys will want to hear this information. So business continuity. So obviously, we're all sick of talking about COVID because now hopefully it's done. But it really threw a spanner in the works there for a while. And business continuity, we were lucky because we were one of the industries that kept going. So we were very lucky in that regard. But a lot of industries didn't. So over here, a lot of the accountants left, and which has led to the shortage now. But one of the issues facing accounting firms is that they couldn't find people. So that's where they came to offshore services like ourselves, which is why we now have a waiting list for services. Trained and skilled staff. So you guys, we sell as software agnostic. So basically any software that these guys over here are using, we already know how to use. And if not, we've got the team who over there will train you guys what to do. Most of the time it's very standard, you've got your Tanda, your Xero, your QuickBooks, all that sort of stuff. But sometimes we do get new ones that come up, and we do need to make sure that if we are working with a software that we haven't worked with before, we're doing the training from our side and we're not putting that onto the client. They're coming to us to make their lives easier, so we don't want to have to then have them train us when we've got our training team there. The difference is sometimes, for example, we do have a client that's looking to come on board in April, and they are specifically a software company. So they've created a software that's similar to Xero, where sole traders can do all of their bookkeeping and tax online. In that regard, they're going to have to train us. So obviously that's a different situation. But when it's things like, your basic things that everyone kind of uses, we've got our training team. We need to make sure we're using them and we're not putting the training onto our clients. pretty much all of the stuff that I wanted to talk to you guys about, but I did kind of want to keep this session as interactive as possible, because I'd rather hear from you guys of questions that you might have from me or things that you might want to know that I could help you with. Okay, well, if anyone does have a question after the fact, please feel free to message me or email me.